this target I got here. It's like I said, I marked it with my heel. Now I run typically in 22 to 24 manual sensitivity, and I check it with auto sensitivity. So I'm going to take it off of. I'm going to take my earplugs out so you can hear this. Maybe hear this. This target is an Iffy target. This target is not a good target. So, but am I going to dig it? Heck yeah. All right. So 2449, 1250, 1050, 40. See if I don't know if I can get that number in. Okay, I'm going to take it and put it in all metal. So typically when I find a target, I usually find it's 2245. I usually take it and put it in manual, auto sensitivity, and check to see if I can hear it. Usually I can. That's all. All right, I'm going to put it in all metal, and I usually always pinpoint usually, because I want to make sure that if I have a target there, I want to make sure that I'm on that target where I'm getting my tones and not right next to it, maybe where the iron is. So I always find my target, I pinpoint it, turn, always 90 degrees, and I always double check my target signals. Now you're not hearing anything much because I'm in auto sense and it's thunking with my discrimination on. Now I'm going to all metal. You might get a better signal, but the numbers, see, that's 2849. It's iron. 3550 iron. 3550. 2950 iron. 3550. 550. 1547. 3549. I wish you could see those numbers more. 544. So a lot of times what I do is when I go over a target, sometimes when I go one way, I get a crappy number. I'll go back, I get a good number. And I'll get 50, sometimes I'll get 50% bad, 50% good. Now, if you're watching on the Manticore, right? On the Manticore screen, you're going to have these little dots, these little circles, paint pictures and trace lines. But if you can't, I can't really show you that on the E-trac, but I can see that little cursor bounce around into different places. It just moves. And if you're doing this fast enough and watching my screen, you can see that little box bounce between good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. The CTX had the trace, so it actually painted the picture. The Manticore paints the picture. It still has the trace. So you watch a lot of people and you'll see the target, you'll see it like a circle paint here, and it'll bleed up over there. Well, it's going to take time to learn the new detector, but for me, it's just going through the menus. Because see, I don't really mess with the menus here. I don't mess with much. I set it to where I like it, and then I go with that, and I only toggle between the things that are really quick. The sensitivity, auto, and my manual, all metal, and back to my screen. So those are the things that, you know, I'll be doing a few of that with the Manticore. But you really honestly, even though they have a bunch of different settings available with any detector, like the Manticore has a bunch of different discrimination patterns, different all-terrain, beach and stuff. Those are great. Set those up. Set up each one of those how you would detect. But you're going to want to leave those settings the way they are. I know it sounds really bad, but once you find everything that you like, the settings are, you're going to want to leave it. Because as soon as you start going in there all the time and you start tinkering and messing around things, and yes, again, this is after you find the settings you like. It's going to take a little time to tweak it. So first thing I'm going to do when I get the Manticore is I'm going to adjust the tone breaks The limits, I'm going to set the tones, different limits. I am going to set it up, the discrimination pattern, the way I want it. And for me, it's going to be trial and error, because I didn't come from the E-trac to the Equinox to the Manticore. I'm going from the E-trac, really old school, but still, to me, the best detector. It just lacks a little bit of that depth. And computer, the technology, the separation power in this is not as strong. But I'm coming from this to the Manticore. So it's going to take me a little time to get used to how to set it up. But I will. The first thing I do before I go out will be adjusting those tone limits, those breaks. And I know that I usually hunt in multiple instead of 4-tone, 5-tone. So I'm going to have to wait and see how that works. But I'm going to try and match the tones as best I can, and try to get that tweaked out. And again, I'm a coin hunter, so I'm going to dig this and see what it is. I'll let you know after I dig it. All right, let's see if it's a good target, or if it's just iron. Like, these are 50-50s, but because I did like the numbers I saw after it settled in a little bit. And the key thing is, I see a lot of people doing these videos on the Manticore. I hardly ever see anybody pinpoint and turn and pinpoint. I know that some people out there, I think even Calabash was saying how a lot of people complained about that he didn't pinpoint this and that, and he was saying, oh, I know what it is, I know what it is. Well, it's BS. You don't know what it is until you actually dig it. And I know that I really do appreciate all his time that he spends on it. But I don't have a lot of detectors, because frankly, what was more important to me was getting to retirement. And so now that I've gotten to retirement, then I can afford myself the newest technology. So I'm down to my target, and we're down, I'd say we're down about 7 to 8 inches. So the target was down there painting in and around 8, maybe 8 inches or so. I mean, it's down about here. So let's see what we got. If I had to take a wild guess, I honestly wouldn't have guessed this to be silver. I honestly I don't know. That's the whole thing. These are iffy targets, but that's how I approach all of my targets. Oh, look at that. Wow. That is a clad dime. A clad dime in a 1952 field, down 8 inches. Of course, those are the things I hate to see. But again, I approach all of my targets the same way. Tone, check it left, right, pinpoint, drop it to auto sensitivity, double check it, all metal, check it, watch my numbers, watch those numbers, see if they bounce, see where they go, and then I decide whether I'm going to dig it after that. So it's a whole same process, like a 3 or 4 step process for every target. And I always approach it pretty much the same way. I never approach a target usually with just one way, and that's it, and dig. If I get good numbers this way, I always check left to right. Left, front to back, left to right, always. It's just habit, and that's what you got to do, is you got to develop a habit of how you approach every target. And after you get your machine set up the way you like it, you approach every target the same way. Yeah, I have success. I was really hoping that was going to be silver, but wasn't. I don't know. So anyways, I gotta inspect the field. The ground here is really mushy and soft, and I need to find some places where the ground is older, not so much fill dirt, and where it's firm, and I think I'll have better luck. Well, I thought I'd get out today. The weather's kind of warm after a nice windstorm, and got rain coming. But I just wanted to show you I got a new digger, and I want to show you how much worn out mine is. It's how short I've worn it out that much. It's pretty amazing, the blade difference. And a good 1.5 inches there. And I've got a nice sharp digger. Had this one for probably 10 years. So got this one for another 10 years and a backup. All right, I got a target here that all right, let's listen to this crap. This is in how I heard this. Hear that little high tone? Okay, when I turned this way, it wasn't very good, but the signal is really distorted. And I want to bring up a point that whenever you have a deeper target, your signal is going to decay. So, I'm assuming that the Manticore would be the same way. So always remember that when you're hearing targets, especially with the enhanced audio for depth, you're going to hear smaller, lighter tones. And if it's got anything around it, like there is a big piece of iron right here. Let me show you this. I'm going to take it to all metal. Right next to this is what iron sounds like, right? Big piece of iron right next to this target. So you're going to get a degraded signal, but do I like this target? I don't like this target. I'm going to dig this target because I can go into all metal, auto sensitivity, and I can go in this direction and I swing right over that high tone. I get good numbers, very good numbers. It's when I turn this way that everything turns to crap. And for me, I don't really like digging those targets necessarily when things are really bad this direction. But if I get good numbers one direction and then this way I get maybe 50%, I have to understand that there's a piece of iron here and my target's right there. You never see people doing tests really, like even with the Manticore or the Deus, necessarily with a piece of iron going this direction and the target like right here. And they never run their coil this way because that iron usually just masks the target. It's always this way. So target, iron, separation right between them. So that's always something to consider, that when you're metal detecting and you get that good target this way, but then when you turn and you're going over the top like iron, target, you're going to get the masking and the discrimination. The problem is with the E-trac is that iron sounds like high conductive. The difference between the new detectors is that I can make the iron sound lower. So if I can get the iron turn and go over that target, and I can sometimes hear that signal, now it's going to combine the iron and it's going to combine the high conductive, and it should be in the middle. So when you're looking at that Manticore and everybody's talking about that trace and that bounce, well, yeah, it's going to combine that metal, and it's going to bleed those together and create a trace. Kind of what I like on the Manticore is when I see a single dot and a single dot. But as you turn your coil around, it's going to change how that's painting. It's going to bleed those two together. So I'm not 100% sold on the 2D screen, although I'm excited to try it on things like this particular target right here. What I've got very, very high fluty silver tone. And I know I have iron here too. So this is either going to be either a nail falsing, or it's going to be a piece of silver. So I'll dig it and let you know. So I'm about ready to pop the plug in that target, but look right above me. I got power lines going right above my head, but I'm not feeling too much interference, but it's there. Okay. Now, what is that? Yeah, I was thinking it would be a little deeper. First time with the new digger. Well, forgot how dull mine was. Yeah, I don't know if that's... So in this particular park, I've managed to find, I believe it was 2 Rosies and a Merc. And I came to this park many, many, many years ago with the, oh, you know what I'm not doing? I feel bad. Oh well, I'll share with you on my next dig. Sometimes it's a good thing if the target's in the middle of the hole. Now, look how deep I am. Is this iron or is this silver? What is this? I'm way down there. That would be one very deep silver if this is silver. So, for me and this E-trac, this is getting down to about its max depth, and I think I feel iron down here. Yeah, there's a nail head right there. Give me 1 second, let me dig this out. All right, it was deep iron. Deep, big iron. Not sure exactly what that is, but if I had to guess, it's a baseball cleat. Because I am in a sports field. So very old, very deep baseball cleat, I'm guessing. Soccer cleat. And yeah, but that's a target. I liked it in one direction, but I didn't like it the other direction enough. I probably would have passed on this, but I had just enough good numbers in this direction, and I had big iron, deep big iron falsing. All right, well, I had this Iffy signal. It was kind of reminding me of like a wheat penny tone. It gets a little deeper. It's kind of a little scratchier. It's coming in like a 140, 133, 135, and you know, I got the signal both directions. I decided to dig it. I saw this piece was actually folded over. I actually broke it, so it was that was connected like that. And I thought, oh, it's this little piece of tin, I'll pick it up. And then when I rubbed it on the other side, it had some really nice ornate detail on the other side. And I'm like, well, what is this? What is this? Because this would have been flipped over, And then it would have had something like that. But look at the detail. Oh, it looks like I didn't even notice that. It looks like there was something else here. So is this something? I mean, does anybody know what this could have been? It looks very flat at the top, like it would have been folded over one more time, but flat. Very, very thin, very smooth on the other side. And I couldn't see any markings. But, you know, I don't know. I would say because of the, I was almost going to say it's aluminum, but because of that ornate detail, I don't think anybody goes through that much. You know, this looks old, and I'm going to have to guess that this is a very thin piece of silver, which that's one of the reasons I dug it for that 140. I was thinking it could be a piece of silver, but the numbers were a little sketchy because hence it's not a round target. All right, well, I like that. I think I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit more, and then I'll get a picture of that. And I'm going to scan over my hole too again, see if I can find anything else. Well, when I tried to bend this up, it was attached only on the corners and it broke off, but look on the other side. Sterling, and I think there was a hallmark right there too. So if anybody could tell me what this was, it had some sort of attachment down here, and it kind of went like that, and it went like this. Just kind of weird angle, but I'm pretty sure it's how it was. Yeah, it was like that angle, and then, oh wait, my bad, this way, and then this piece was very, very thinly attached on top like that. What is that, guys? Let me know. Nice. All right, little product review here for the RV trailer. You know these little guys right there, those little stink bugs. Say I'm up on the trailer, and I got these FanMate bug guards, right? Optional bug shields for your MaxxAirs. And I'm going to tell you that to me, they kind of suck. So I'm not sure if there's a better model out there, but they snap in, but they kind of don't do a very good job snapping in, because you can kind of see the light, the way that this thing is angled here, it's hard to get a good, they don't snap in on the sides. So they got like a little warpage here. So the bugs are just going to crawl right around that. I mean, if you have any issues, that's where the issues are going to be. So they need snaps on the sides. If they can somehow get snaps on the sides. Yeah, it's a little bit of a bug guard. It's better than having that wide open. So bugs flying into this are going to be able to crawl around the little lip right there and still get in. And the worst case is they're not going to be able to get out, so you're going to end up with a gazillion dead bugs probably inside your MaxxAir vent cover. But that's just, it's a little better than nothing, right? I just wanted to throw my 2 cents out there saying that I'm not impressed. I mean, definitely gappage right along the sides there. Bugs are going to crawl in. They're going to go right around both edges, and you know, bleh. That's my product review for that guy. It's better than nothing, but it's not 100% bug proof. And especially the screen here the screens here are pretty big. So the holes are bigger than your screen. Our biggest problem too is that these MaxxAirs are pulling those little tiny flies, those smallest little flies, pulling them right through the screens. So we end up with a lot of those inside the trailer. And it's because of these MaxxAirs are pulling them in. And I'm trying to find if anybody out there knows of a bug shield that you can put over like your screens. I don't necessarily need to put it over all my windows, but a couple of my windows would be good if I had a more mesh type screen than your normal screens. I just need something finer over a couple of my screens so that I can keep those really small flies. It's really small, I don't know what they are, out of the trailer. So if you guys have an idea on that, please comment and let me know. I've been kind of looking for a mesh or something that I can put over some of my screen openings. All right, that's a product review for this guy. Would I buy it again? Maybe. I have to wait and go a season and see how many bugs. The nice thing is there's a screen under here, right? That's about the same size as your window screens. So, the small little flies are still going to get through here. They're going to go around here when this is open and not running. They'll still be able to maybe get through that small screen. It's the bigger bugs like the stink bugs and stuff like that. There's another one right there is dead. That's when I pulled this cover off. There were a couple of dead ones in around here. So that's the thing. That's what made me buy this, because I was seeing stink bugs and around here, and there was a couple times they got in. I don't know where they're getting in from, but those little guys, those little damn stink bugs, boy, they really get into the little small cracks, crannies. But yeah, so that's what made me buy this. So this is going to be a test. This will be, I won't really get to know too much this winter season, but of course next year when we travel back east, we'll encounter lots of bugs. So we'll see how many we have laying around on the screen by the end of the season or whenever. And since I took all this off, and it was kind of nicely sealed onto this Detector, I'm probably going to have to, I don't know. I don't really necessarily need to reset it with Detector because it needs to be able to come off. But I was a little concerned right in this little area about rain, because Detector was low and there was a gap between the vent and the thing, so the rainwater would have just washed right up and would have pooled up inside this little area inside my thing. So I am probably going to add a Detector buffer right here so that the water, so it doesn't go up and inside the hood vent. So if you guys haven't been up on your trailer to check those things, you might want to check those things.